please. Noon.
Noon.
Atun.
Atun.
Shu.
Shu.
Tefnut.
Tefnut.
Geb.
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 Nu.
Nu.
Asar.
Asar.
Aset.
Aset.
Sutek.
Sutek.
Nebhet.
Nebhet.
Heru.
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 Ma'at.
Ma'at.
Jehuti.
Jehuti.
Kansu.
Kansu.
Ator.
Ator.
Seknet.
Seknet.
Bestet.
Bestet.
We offer our attention and our minds to the principles of creation as embodied by the Neteru. We seek freedom and separation from all things that distract us from our true selves at this time. Somodipi. Greetings and salutations, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our second celebration of the Kemetic Spiritual Calendar. This series is dedicated to the ancient African science known as theurgy, specifically theurgy that comes from the city of Anu. Thank you for supporting the Temple of Holistic Knowledge, a temple of the Carolian tradition. My name is Reverend James Kaufman-Williams, and locally I am the chief priest of this temple. Internationally, I am the first priest and co-head of the entire Carolian tradition, an international tradition with members and temples all around the world, including North, Central, and South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. The Carolian tradition is a tradition open to those seeking a path of enlightenment and to rediscover the divinity inherent in themselves and in all creation. We offer education and encouragement to all those who wish to celebrate the path of the wise in their lives, and we also offer the inner court or initiatory path for those called to the clergy to demonstrate and serve the principles we declare with our lives. Anyone interested in either celebrating or demonstrating their faith can speak to any of the clergy present following the service to get their questions met and their curiosity satisfied. Last time we met, we discussed the goddess Nebhet as the house, the fashioner of bodies, and one component of serpent power that is the life force energy at the base of the spine. We discussed her relationship to the other divinities, that she appears alongside in mythology, and we talked about her relationship to the physical world and the drives and urges that she represents, as well as the consequences that come from when we indulge in them. Today we're going to do the exact same thing with the divinity Geb, but before we really get into that, we must return to the order of creation. And I got to remind you right now off the bat that as with many mythological scriptures and allegories, they utilize human experiences to help us understand cosmic principles. However, taking these stories literally, even for a single second, will send you down a rabbit hole of building false knowledge. I must further enlighten you by acknowledging that in Kemetic spiritual science, the principles represented in the stories are all mathematical functions to help us understand the creation of the entire universe, the creation of humanity, and the creation of so-called human civilization. So here we go. During the beginning, there was the dark waters, the still waters of noon. Within noon, there was everything. Every possibility, every probability existed in a state of union with everything else, undifferentiated and unknown. And from this place, Atum, the self-created Lord, emerged. It is said that he created himself through an act of divine masturbation. At this time, the process of differentiation began. There was Noon, that was everything, and there was Atum, also known as Ra in other traditions, and that made one. From Atum came the divine twins, the god Shu, who is the god of the wind and air, and Tefnut, who is the goddess of moisture and rain. And although Shu and Tefnut are siblings, they are also spouses who give birth to the god Geb, and who is the earth, the element and the planet itself, and all the things that rise from the planet, as well as the goddess Nut, who is the goddess of the sky. She is the sky itself, and as such, each planet, star, meteor, asteroid, moon is suspended in her body. The rotation of the planets around the sun at the center of the solar system, the Milky Way, Andromeda, and beyond, all suspended in their orbits in Nut's body. It is said that Geb and Nut loved each other so much that they were interlocked in an eternal embrace in which nothing could get between them. And because of this, Atum called upon Tefnut to place herself in between Geb and Nut, forming for the first time and for all time since then what we know as atmosphere. If you want comparable imagery, think about the moment that Atlas got in between the sky and the earth and hoisted the sky up on his back. However, in Kemetic science, this was not a curse. This was not a punishment of any sort. This was just a divine duty that needed to happen so that creation could continue. From here, I do want to point out that depending on how you tell the rest of the story determines which aspects of the mysteries we encounter next. I'll say for now, as a sidebar, that after their separation by their parent Tefnut, Nut would realize her pregnancy with Asar, Aset, Sutek, Heru, and Nephet, from whom we touched on last week as the house and the fashioner of bodies. However, I do want us to focus on Geb in particular, and another epithet that he was known by as the result of another subtler mystery. Geb is also known as Geb Gen-Gen-Er, which means Geb, the great cackler, as in quack, quack. And he is often depicted with a goose on his head. He is referred to as such because after his separation from Nut, yes, she gave birth to the divinities that represent the aspects of our personality. However, she and Geb together engendered an egg. Geb laid the egg, and from this egg came the great Bennu bird. The Bennu bird is the Kemetic inspiration for the Greek bird referred to as Phoenix. Bennu resurrects every morning with the rising sun, and in fact, he is the rising sun. Who is the rising and setting sun?
Ra.
It's Ra. It's Atum. We will circle back to that in a moment, but we're going to put a pin into that. Because there is a mystery attached to the giving birth to one's own father that is important to us as individuals. It's important to us in the understanding of how creation occurred and how we even got here. But for now, let's hold the magnifying glass to the God who is the earth, and how knowing him, understanding him, and integrating him is meant to aid us in our evolution as individuals and as a species. It is important to recognize that some wisdom is grounded or concrete. We understand this maybe as knowledge. This knowledge is grounded in space and time, the here and now. But then there's also another more subtle kind of knowledge that can only be felt through experience, that can only be what we call transcendental. And so knowing these principles is grounded in space and time, but our experience of them, that's the transcendental component that we can only feel in our bodies. As I stated earlier, Geb is the planet and the element of Earth. To the Kemetic people, the Earth was known as Het Geb, or the house of Geb, and Geb is also all of the life forms that spring from the Earth, the plants and the animals that feed off the plants, the animals that feed off the animals that feed off plants, the rocks that make up the mountains, the metal ore in the ground. We can continue this list to include the fish and the life forms in the oceans, lakes, and rivers and seas, even as we recognize that the waters themselves are manifests of Tefnut's moisture, or the rain. Geb presides over the earth and all that which is below its surface. And this is why one of his epithets is also the Great Polar, or Smam-Er in the Egyptian tongue. As humans, we know that rivers and lakes of water and magma flow beneath the surface of the earth. We know that we plant seeds just below the surface of the earth. But what else gets placed and held beneath the surface of the earth?
Our dead bodies.
Dead bodies. For us, we may think of the tomb or the grave. Geb holds the key to the vault that opens and closes the door to the netherworld. Geb holds all the souls that are unworthy of heaven here on earth until we become worthy. Geb has two distinct aspects. He exists as physical objects in the earth itself, and also as the magnetism that acts upon the physical or gross manifestations. Magnetism is said to be one of the most pervasive forces in the universe. That magnetism from objects far and wide across space has subtle impacts on us here on Earth. Even as our minds are composed of subtle yet gross components, the force of magnetism impacts our minds as well. The extent to which our mind holds attachments or proclivity to the grosser or more physically oriented manifestations and desires will act to attract, like magnets, the opportunities to participate in them. The principle of magnetism, more commonly put as like attracts like, is bound up in the identity of Geb. Magnetism, as we know it, operates in two directions. There is the attraction component, of course. However, the repulsion component is often withheld or omitted from the larger conversation. It is this attraction and repulsion that constitutes the basis of our dual perception. Attraction and repulsion is the basis of our belief in either or, this or that, like or dislike. In a larger scale, we can understand that attraction and repulsion keep planets fixed in their orbits. In truth, however, the same way that the attraction and repulsion maintain planetary movements is the same way that attraction and repulsion keep us locked in the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. It also maintains the perception of the individuality of souls. The idea that we are separate and that we prefer or even enjoy some aspects of creation over the other is an illusion that is thrust upon us by our own egos. This illusion of preference keeps us stuck behind the gate, bolts shut by Geb with the promise of the duat incomplete until we are able to master the principles of Geb. Give up the illusion of preference and truly utilize the principles of attraction and repulsion to work toward the purification of our personalities. So that when the time comes, we find that the gate is unbolted and the promise is fulfilled. A secret to mastering the principles of Geb is understanding that we have a choice in the participation in attraction and repulsion. We also must understand that participating in the attraction of something automatically means we are participating in the repulsion of the opposite. If we are attracted to things that are dirty, it means we are participating in the repulsion of the things that are clean. Indulging in the attraction to what is considered unrighteousness means we are participating in the repulsion of the righteous. If we indulge in delusion, we are repelling wisdom. This goes on indefinitely until we shed the ignorance related to duality. Choosing to embrace righteousness and wisdom, to accept the moments that come without judgment and without clinging to them, or rushing them, is a choice to exit participation in the process that binds us to the cycle of reincarnation. Speaking of reincarnation, what of the Bennu bird that dies each night and resurrects again each day with the rising sun, and indeed is the rising sun? The Bennu bird that was hatched from the egg laid by Geb and engendered by the love of Geb and Nu. The Bennu bird that is Atum, the father of the two. How would they give birth to their own father? What idea or cosmic principle is being communicated to us by the Kemetic sages? What is being illuminated in this part of the story? Perhaps
Divine inheritance.
It is illuminating our own ability to recreate ourselves as frequently as each new day. Perhaps it is a nod to our species' tendency to participate in the self-similarity of structures, also known as the infinite nesting effect, in which we participate in the things that are familiar and that seem to work, perhaps recreating systems over and over and over again. Fast forward to another lesson, the god Horus is also Atum and Ra. And the succession of the sun maintains the succession of kings and the order that was set forth by Atum when he first emerged. On that note, I'll leave you with this proverb, handed to us from our Kemetic ancestors. Look for the world within yourself. Do not look for yourself within the world, because if you do, you will only project your own fears and illusions into all that you perceive. Who needs a cleansing?
Can you just say that last line one more time?
What was that?
Please. You say, look for the world in yourself, do not for yourself in the world.
Because if you do, you will only project your own fears and illusions into all that you perceive. And so if any of you have ever read or listened to The Charge of the Goddess, you might recognize that piece of advice that no matter how hard you seek for anything at all your seeking will avail you not unless you know this one truth, that if you can't find it within yourself, you will never find it without yourself. So again, on that note, who needs a cleansing?
I'll take one.
The back of your neck, your wrist, face, your head. Who has questions for the dice?
Can I ask a different question about what you learned?
Sure.
Okay. So when I was researching last night, I couldn't help but to feel like so much of this is passing on the torch, but just in a much more concentrated way. And it made me think about generational inheritance and that being passed down. Why are you grinning?
Because you're very close.
Oh,
It's reversed.
okay, what do you mean?
Geb passes it down into our personality. So you remember Nephthys,
Yes.
Asar, Aset, Sutek, those are all components of our personality.
Yes, but what I'm thinking about specifically is that Geb, how he holds the bodies, and then Nephthys or Nebhet, she also rules over that realm, and then she gives birth to Anubis, who also rules over that realm. But as it goes down, it's more and more concentrated.
More and more differentiated.
Okay.
So they are multiplying.
Right.
And so we would say maybe Geb is the planet, Neptet is our perception of the planet.
Right. Someone was saying that like Geb is the cemetery, Nephthys is in the cemetery.
Geb is the cemetery, Neptet is how we feel about the cemetery,
Yes.
what we think or believe about the cemetery.
Period. Okay.
So if we're like cemetery, we're participating in repulsion,
Yes.
and it's what we think or believe about the cemetery,
Yes.
and that is fashioned by Neptet.
Yes. Okay.
And then Hu,
Yes.
who is her child with, interestingly enough, an earth god,
Yes.
so an heir to Geb.
Yes.
Their union represents our perhaps desire to figure it out.
That's what I mean. It just keeps getting more concentrated. At least that's how it felt when I was researching it.
Sure.
And I thought that was really interesting.
Sure. Any other questions? Any questions for the dice?
Yeah, I'll do check.
Do we have to have a specific question or can we just see what
I'm
they
gonna assume that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I do. Okay.
What's up?
Alright, so I just learned that they're closing the subway at the place I work at, which means they're gonna have to move me around somewhere. And I was told by my coworker that might mean I go part-time instead of full-time. And I don't want to ask about that. I'm really stressed about that now. Okay.
Alright, so we read that in red, white, green. You got 356, which is boat. So you are gonna be moving around as a floater kind of situation.
Okay.
5, cat. It's actually gonna be pretty comfortable. Like it's not gonna be too much of I mean, being a floater is a hassle, but it's not gonna be as big of a hassle. Like cat actually talks about comfort and perks. And then your green 6 is fruit tree, which means that actually in your travels, in your, maybe utilizing these perks, you actually find something that is way more beneficial to you that you like way better.
Okay. Okay.
Good question.
Yes, you can very heavy last night this morning.
Well, you got a malefic.
Okay. Which makes sense for one that was a big
You also got heart.
Okay.
And ladder. You will have to re-roll with the black one, but first thing is first.
Okay.
The skull is an omen of death, either figurative or literal. So like definitely be careful driving, be careful out and about in the weather, like be careful. The heart talks about relationships with other people, and when the heart shows up, it means that they are pretty secure. Not much to worry about in that regard. And the ladder means that like you are actually entering a position where you're either going to rise into a better situation, or you might choose to descend into something that's a little bit more comfortable for a little bit.
Oh.
But the option to move laterally is upon you.
And
Your black 2, mountain. So difficulties and obstacles, problems and hurdles and
Obstructing.
roads are closed. The red 5, the white 2. Oh, that's better.
Okay.
And the green 6.
So no car crash, that's good.
Right. So the red 5 is the beetle, which ties in great with that other ladder. So like that's doggedness and determination and your ability to actually build something sustainable out of shit.
Okay.
Like the beetle, like
Yeah,
it
no,
literally
yeah,
means-
he's the dumb.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who also is a totem of Ra.
Yeah. Oh.
The stork, either literal or figurative pregnancy. So what something something is something wants to come forward and like be created by you.
Okay.
And then the fruit tree means that once you actually have that and you put the energy into manifesting it, it will serve you.
Okay, I just got to figure out how to get over the wall,
Oh,
basically.
absolutely.
Okay, so that's what it sounds like, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you should probably get some Reiki because of that lap throw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will handle that.
Okay.
Who's next? Boat. So you also have a little bit of movement coming in your direction, either a trip or you going someplace. You're gonna have to move from where you are to where you're going. But it's the white one, the web, means that there are some situations that you're not clear about that have flies maybe causing a disruption. So if you think about like a spider's web, all the flies that are caught in that web are disturbances, are disruptions. is that negative energy that's acting against you and you're not really super duper sure where it's coming from or what it is. It's there, but it is also caught in the web. So like as you figure out what it is, you can choose if you're gonna be the spider or if you're gonna have somebody else be the spider and eat it up.
Is that web or sun?
Huh?
The white one?
Yes.
It's what she's asking if it's actually sun.
Oh no, oh sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah,
I mean,
both
what you
the
just
white
said
one
was
is
very, resonated very much.
so that's actually hilarious because the white one is actually sun and it means that a revelation of truth is upon you.
Okay, so basically, last couple weeks have been very heavy, and I know something's, I don't know exactly where it's coming from, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna find out. Good. I like protein. I always go both.
Ooh, look at that. And then the green 5 is the goblet, and I liken the goblet to the 3 of Cups, where you just like hold it up, and there's gonna be like a little celebration for you soon, or like people are going to gather in your honor, and it's going to be a great moment.
I'll see.
Yeah, so there's that. Because you are able to identify with the web and like the flies and stuff, I would say you should get some Reiki. That way you can maybe illuminate that and figure out what's happening with that.
I got a little bit of it yesterday.
Mhm.
I asked for mentorship, and basically I told that people can talk and shit.
Ooh,
So.
damn.
And if some of it's me, I will acknowledge that at 100%, but it's frustrating not to be told that I'm doing something wrong until it gets told to my boss. So.
Wow. Who else?
Yeah, he said guidance as to returning to the inner house.
4. Horseshoe. That is an omen of good luck, good fortune, and like a decent reason to be celebrating like right now. When the horseshoe shows up, it implies that perhaps, let me just make sure before I speak too soon. Like 5, yep, and green, yeah, that's all good. So none of the spirits who bring misfortune are upon you. None of the karmic interactions are upon you. So like returning to the house is like all systems go. And that you can rely on your instincts, you can rely on your good fortune, you can rely on any good luck that's upon you, any good karma that you've already generated to like actually propel you to where you want to be. So if you're feeling like you're outside the house, will yourself to be inside the house. The white 5, the cat, that's comfort, that is taking advantage of perks, that is also like household stability. Interesting. The house that you want to return to is a stable house, and you're probably not as far as you think based on your question. And then the 4 is the key. That's so interesting. The key is, it literally means that you already have the ability to open any door, gate, or window that you choose to open. So if you're feeling like you are not in the house that you want to be in, again, just will yourself to be there. Okay, well. Anybody else? Mm-hmm. Red 4, horseshoe. White 2, death omen. Green 1, snail. Snail is a health concern. Snail means follow up with any doctors or any specialists or anything. Get those checked out. Of course, the wait, never mind, stork. You don't have the stork, you have the stork. The stork is the something trying to burst forth creatively. So no death omen, specifically.
Yeah, you cleared it.
Yes, specifically good luck. Something trying to burst forward creatively. that really only you can bring forward, and a reminder to pay attention to some health stuff. So definitely still go to that doctor's appointment or follow up with those providers. But I can't remember what you got last time, but it definitely
Lightning,
was.
a lot of motherfucking light, excuse me, pardon me.
Yeah, so, alright, cool, so it looks like you did the thing and the stuff was taken care of. So no lightning, no spell, and no knife.
So now,
That's nice.
now we're on to the next phase.
Yes.
Cool.
Is there anything creative that you are working on or that you've been contemplating?
I mean, I've got energetic work that I'm doing and I'm trying to take a creative approach to that. So I actually, for push season, I got mirrors, I got a glass drill bit, I like, yeah, so,
Work. Alright.
yeah,
Get to it.
cool, love that.
Anybody else?
I've been given a message.
Uh-huh.
Let Phoenix know I rolled a red 2, a white 2, and a green 6.
A red 2 is the death omen, a white 2 is the stork, and a green 6 is a fruit tree. So you're gonna need some Reiki, and you're gonna need to figure out how to roll a black dice that will give further information on what karmic or misfortune is upon you, unless you wanted to do it for you. That was Tina?
Yeah.
I mean, she could talk to the camera.
I think it gets delayed,
And she probably didn't want to scare people.
like. Fun of it.
She said yes, roll the dice.
Black 6 is the site, danger due to accidents, beware of high speeds, high altitudes, overdoses, knowing things and taking things for granted. Like, so knowing that things are harmful or potentially dangerous, but not considering that fully. And alright, so for Tina, I will give her some lightning water. She's gonna need to get her own egg, and she's going to need to go to a sacred place and put that in the snow or the dirt and pour the lightning water over it. And that will be the thing that helps abate the malefic energies that surround her.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Thoughts? Okay. Then come on back the first Saturday of March, and we will do this again with a different spirit and some different kinds of magic. So that will be a thing too. But again, thank you all for coming.
Thanks, Phoenix.
Until next time, let's be.